I'm competitive, not really with others, but with myself, and I really like proving that I can do things that guys can do too. I don't know, it makes me feel pretty, can I say badass? My name is Jessica Dushane, and I've been climbing for 1 year. How I got into climbing, it's kind of weird, really, because in this area, we didn't have an outlet for it until recently. But I was going through a pretty rough time in my life and kind of lost myself a bit. And I tried to get back to things that brought me joy, especially when I was a kid. And I was like, okay, what brought me joy? And I was like, I was really big into climbing trees when I was a kid. I would be the kid that was all the way at the top. And then I was like, I really like doing that. And then I heard that the gym was opening here, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try that out. That's really how I got into it. So my average day here, I get here, I stretch. Stretching is huge. It helps you get your moves a little bit better. So I'll stretch, I'll hangboard for a little bit, and then I'll do a few warm-up routes to something that's easy, something that I can just go slow and I'm not gonna burn myself out on right away. And then I climb. Sometimes I'll be here for 4 hours. But yeah, a very significant moment in my climbing journey. Man, I feel like there's a couple things that I could talk about. One of the biggest ones, I guess, I could talk about my injury. I was bouldering, and I don't know if I dropped wrong, fell wrong, whatever, but I broke my ankle pretty severely. And I remember the first thing I said after I vocalized that it was definitely broken was, I was like, man, I hope this doesn't stop me from climbing. I was off work and I could not bear weight for about 4 months from that. I was pretty intimidated to come back climbing, but I ended up coming back before I was even bearing weight on my ankle. I didn't want to give up. I enjoyed it too much. It's great physically for you, but it's also great mentally, is what I've noticed. Yeah, and I enjoyed it so much I couldn't stay away. But another moment was, I was primarily bouldering. I felt like I was getting really good at it. I remember coming in initially when I started out, and I would see, some of the females that were climbing, and men too, but I'd look at some of the females climbing some hard stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could never do that, or they're just amazing. And then I remember there was a time that I did a pretty difficult climb, and I remember I completed it, I jumped down, and then I had people that were clapping because there were people that were climbing harder things than I was, and they couldn't do that climb. So that was a pretty significant moment. I'd say my favorite part about being here, excluding climbing, is the community, for sure. I've had people that are more supportive here in a short period of time than people that have been in my life for long periods of time. The community's great. Just got my lead certification. Lead climbing is my favorite, for sure. It's like if you blend top rope and bouldering together. So it's the best of both worlds. You have a little bit more of that scare factor of falling. Top rope, you don't really get that. And there's definitely more strength involved with lead climbing too. So I'd say my future in climbing, it's definitely something that's gonna stay in my life, and I'm gonna progress as far as I possibly can. I've only done indoor climbing so far. I definitely wanna start outdoor climbing, doing some trips and traveling to climb some of the, famous climbs out there. But yeah, I might, maybe we'll get into trad one day, but we'll see. I'd say one piece of advice that I would give for new climbers would be rest. Take rest days. I got pretty hooked pretty quick, and I was coming 5 days a week when I first started. And it was great for a while, and then I felt like I plateaued and I started getting worse. And I was like, what is happening right now? I know I'm getting stronger and everything, but I started not doing as well. And then people are like, yeah, you're here a lot. Maybe you should tone it back a little bit. And I did, and now I'm down to I'll do on average 3 days a week to climb. And that seems to be the perfect number. I might get hate for this, but I really like slab. I love the balancy, kind of slow weight distribution movements that you have to do in order to stay on the wall. And I like overhung too, but overhung will kick your butt. I feel like it's sometimes easier said than done, but I feel like if you have an urge to do it and you don't have anybody to go with, just go. That's what I did. I ended up coming alone my first time, and I was like, just do it. I was really nervous, but I had people come up to me right away, and like, nobody is judging you, I would say, when you're here and you're starting out. Everybody's really supportive. So don't be afraid to start and look stupid, because nobody's gonna think you look stupid.